Hello and welcome to Vowspiration. I'm Kez, I'm a Newcastle celebrant, and each week we bring you real vows, which means you can hear what people actually said during their wedding ceremony and you can apply it to your own vows, you can use it as inspiration, you can plagiarise it completely, no one will ever know. The whole idea is that you hear actual examples of wedding vows, not just the viral ones, and you're able to then use that in your own way, either taking from it what you want or leaving behind bits and going, no, I don't want that in my wedding vows at all. This week, a little bit different. We're being joined by Will from Euphoria Films to discuss some vows that went viral probably in the last 4 to 6 weeks on TikTok and then because of that on everywhere else. These vows are definitely stirring up some emotions in people. So to start off with, hi Will, can you tell us a little bit about you and about Euphoria Films?
Euphoria is essentially myself, my partner, and a handful of my best friends that somehow still shoot weddings. I've been doing this for 13 odd years now and still enjoy it just as much as when I started, which is great. Realistically, we just try and make a day fun, make it enjoyable, don't put too much seriousness on it, and yeah, that's about it. There's not too much more to it.
And Will, you reached out to me with this idea about discussing these particular vows that have gone viral on TikTok. There is a lot of heat and a lot of passion around these vows. Let's just play them.
Yeah, sure.
Since the day we started talking, after falling through my bedroom window, within minutes I could tell you were the one for me. Then as time went on and I was falling deeper in love with you, I was and always will be one of the easiest people to please. Only 2 things are required to keep me happy: keep my belly full and my balls empty. Though you're amazing at half of it, we really need to get you some cooking lessons. Even when my belly isn't full, there is no one I could ever love more in this lifetime, unless I actually get a chance to meet Margot Robbie. Since the beginning, I always told you I was going to make you the happiest woman in the world and give you everything I could possibly give. Well, today I'm taking a step further and giving you my last name, the last name of champions. No one deserves it more. With you and the girls by my side, I feel like I can conquer anything. Y'all make life worth living, giving every breath of every day a purpose. Life gets even better when the kids fall asleep and you tell me to come to the bedroom. Nothing's better than the sound of gagging and headboard slamming.
Michael.
Everyone keeps telling me that marriage is going to ruin a lot of things, but I feel that's only if you let it. Even if we fight, argue, or don't see eye to eye on something, it'll never affect the way I love you. Marriage is something I take seriously and I only want to do once. After almost 10 years, I still stand by the fact that you're my soulmate and it'll never change. After today, the only thing changing is me having to deal with the ring on my finger. You will forever have my heart, and that's a promise till death do we part. P.S. Since you're so good at making decisions like marrying me, you can choose whether tonight's going to end with being a toaster strudel or a Twinkie.
Alrighty. I'm speechless.
You're so
Really? Being that I am his mom, I will deal with him later. He is grounded, by all means.
Okay, so this is a couple in America. The videographer in question has initially decided to take a small section of these vows and paste them on TikTok. And of course, it went viral because of what the gentleman said. Now, when we replayed this, you just said, I'm still angry about it. Tell us about your reaction.
I'm going to first up front say, every couple has a different relationship and a different dynamic, and what works for some people may not work for others. I completely get that. But I guess just from the standpoint of something you're going to watch back in 10, 15, 20 odd years, or maybe seeing it from my point of view video, I'm going to watch this about 30 times while we're sort of going through the whole process of it. I don't know. I just find it so sad for the partner. It just watching the whole thing play out and watching it in front of all your friends. I'm sure they have this dynamic where it's a back and forth and it's very playful, but I don't know. I was embarrassed and I felt sad for her watching it and watching all her friends watch it go on. Everyone knew, not necessarily that it was wrong. I'm sure they all know what type of person he is as a guy, but I don't know. It just infuriated me. I felt so sad and embarrassed.
Yeah, there is a lot of talk being thrown around toxic behavior and people applying a lot of names to this. Now, I myself kind of watched it and went, not what I would have done, not what I would have wanted my husband to do. But at the same time, the partner has since come out and said, I was completely fine with it. My opinion in this is this could have easily happened and never been on the internet, and we would never know what was said. And in a small group of people, there would have been a little tiny discussion with some people saying I loved it and some people saying I hated it. The thing is, it's since gone viral. In your experience as a videographer, have you seen anything like this where vows have just divided a crowd or tanked?
I have seen it, but it's been the opposite. It's been the female that's been the instigator with something that's overtly sexual, which is very interesting. It just kind of threw the entire room rather than it being the other way. I've seen little bits and pieces of this in the past, but it's never been to that degree. Like, that degree is very heavy. It was the entire set of the vows. Even when you thought he was coming back and revealing something that was a bit more, lovey-dovey, he jumped straight back into making it this. It was very interesting. I thought he may have made it part of it and then pivoted off to say something sentimental, but he only gives you little glimpses of that and then goes back to sort of where he was at the start. I don't know. I found it particularly interesting, and I'm sure that's why it's dividing. Like, if he had have only done it at the front and then made the rest of it sentimental and sort of like beautiful, it would have been fine. But I don't know. It still irks me so much. And I guess I'm seeing it from a sympathetic point of view. And as I said, if I had tried to pull this off with my partner, and I do not have the bravado to do that at all. There's no, you need a certain amount of confidence and skills to sort of pull this off. And he's very talented at wording himself clearly. I'm sure he talks quite a lot for a living, but yeah, I don't know. It's just still, it's beyond me.
So what I do like about this is it challenges the role of vows and potentially makes people think, I don't have to be all lovey-dovey, because especially doing this podcast and especially talking to the couples the way I do, that's one thing a lot of them struggle with is I have to rip open my chest, open up my heart and explore all my feelings. And I'm like, no, you don't have to do that at all. There is a social expectation or this whole idea that that's what you have to do, and it's just not true. So what I do like about this is it makes or it argues the case, whether you like it or you don't, that you don't have to be all lovey-dovey feelings in vows. And for the right couple, where, she's apparently happy with these vows. So for them, that could potentially be something in 10, 15 years time, they look back on and still get a giggle out of.
Oh, of course, I'm sure. There's no way you cannot watch that and giggle or gasp, whichever sort of way you take it. But I'm sure if she is fine with that and that's their relationship, I'm sure that's totally cool.
To go back now to your experience as a videographer with all the vows that you see every single week, what are your top 3 things that you would recommend to a couple in thinking about their vows?
Sentimentality is always good for vows, for as a base sort of starting point. I would just dot points out. I'd also share with an intermediary, I'm sure like yourself or someone else. So Anna and I, my wife, we shared with a roommate that we had at the time, both our vows to make sure they align a little bit. One wasn't rambling on because my wife is a creative writer and she's very talented at writing, and I didn't want to make myself look like too much of an ass. So we shared to an intermediary, made sure they were sort of on the same page. So I guess that'd be one of them. When you are stuck, maybe sort of just go back over past life experiences, why you fell in love with that person, what's sort of happening. And you can make it jokey if you want to, but if you are not a super confident person or someone that is the life of the party, maybe sort of go down the other route rather than trying to be funny. Because when funny doesn't land, it looks really bad on video. Sentimentality, you can cry and make a mess of yourself. It always goes well. But being funny and not landing is so much worse.
And I will add to that too, because I agree with you. But false sentimentality, so the other way, I have done, I'm coming up to 900 and something weddings. I've seen some weddings where it has felt, to me at least, that one of the people is putting on emotion.
You do see some of them where they don't feel as authentic.
They think that during their vows they're meant to cry, so they kind of, I'm not crying, so therefore maybe I need to choke my, wipe away a fake tear or something like that. And in my experience, I would say it's okay not to blubber and not to feel it, because everyone gets to that wedding day in that moment And whatever you feel in that time is how you feel. In the same way, I've seen people freeze up and, blank stares and wooden boards because it's such a confronting moment of the ceremony where you're going to say your vows.
I'll have to link you my vows after this, and we'll talk about this on another pod anyway. But I've got ADHD. I've had it since I was a kid. And literally being in front of that many people and being on the spot, I was frazzled. Like literally I'm everywhere and I'm focusing on 10 million things all at once. And you can see it going through the ceremony, and just trying to actually hone in and sort of be with my wife in that moment was very difficult for me. And you'll see it when you watch the video, but it's very interesting to sort of look through it and sort of see how everyone handles that situation so differently.
Prime example for me is my husband blubbered like a baby through his vows. And I was having such a great time, and I was loving the day, and everything was going so great, and I was really happy. I was grinning like an idiot. So I reckon if we were to have a video, I would look like a heartless bitch.
That's it. I thought I'd cry. I can't get through a Disney film by myself. I thought I'd be an absolute mess, but I was okay. And it's fine to be, it's fine not to cry. Whatever sort of works for everyone else. You could be going through so many different things on your wedding day, and there should be no expectations aside from making sure you both enjoy it as much as you can.
Thank you so much, Will, for chatting to us today. I'm going to take you up on that offer, and I think we'll have you back in about a fortnight to share your own vows, and we'll talk about your wedding. I'm Kez. Thanks for listening to Vowspiration. Any question you have, whether you want to submit your own vows, submit someone else's vows that you've seen on Instagram, TikTok or wherever, vowspiration.com is your answer. Apart from the question, where do I find you, Kez, on all your socials? And the answer to that question is at WedByKez. It's been an honour to bring you another episode of Vowspiration this week. Thanks for listening. You can rate, like, subscribe, do all the things, because by interacting with the podcast and giving us a rating, if it's been helpful, it will pump it up the chain, and obviously more people will find us. And we want to be able to help as many people as possible. That's it for Vowspiration. Catch you next week.